Hey and welcome. So in this video we're just going to work out if we can get the guns and rockets working from a cold and dark start. So on the right side I'm going to drop on the rockets, it's going to put on these 7 unguided rockets, and on the left side we're just going to put on a pod with the 200 selected. Alright, so we've done all that. We might just change the livery as well to something like the Japanese Army, and then we'll click OK. Cool, so now we're going to do the cold and dark start quickly. So we're going to click down here on the parts step. We're going to go up here on the ignition boost, also the anti-collision light, and then whack on the battery. And then we go down to here, we're going to turn on the switch, we're going to put it to idle, and then we're also just going to hold down this start button until we can hear a sound. Great. Now just one interesting thing, if you go into adjust controls, it might be useful if you set it up with the word acknowledge and you select something for acknowledge, recall, switch, acknowledge. So I've just put it to a button on my joystick so you can whack it, so that way you don't have to go screaming down here to try and hit the switch. So we're going to try and see if it works for me. So we're going to hit acknowledge and it works. So yeah, instead of having to look down here all the time, maybe set that button up on something, because you're going to have to hit it quite a bit every time you start this aircraft up. So anyway, that's all done. Aircraft is starting. Now you shouldn't probably be doing all this quite so quickly, but I'm just going to do it quickly. Acknowledge. I'm going to change this to NR. We'll go to NR, and then we're just going to make sure this is on full. And we'll just wait to see if that starts up. Now our weapons should be on board, so we've got a gun and we've got a rocket, so that's all good. The only other thing is, and you can do this while you're still on the ground seemingly, you can set this to armed and you can set this to gun. So just click up once and this one to twice up. So that's all that's happening there. Acknowledge, so we're all good there. Okay, so we're at 100, we're just going to tap it up 1, and we've got the yellow chiclet, so we're all good pretty much to take off. So that's the whole cold and dark start complete. We've got the plane loaded, and on top of that, we're ready to go. So we'll just give it a little bit of power. Slowly bring up that collective. If you look down here, you can see I'm raising it. So I'm just raising it. That's all that's happening. So we'll just slowly raise that collective, give it a little bit of left rudder. One thing I think I'm overlooking is this switch down here. So we want to turn on the SCAS. So we're going to turn on power, that and that. That might help us a little bit, I'm not sure. But we'll give that a go. So we've got our feet on the pedals, and we're just going to bring up that collective. Plane or aircraft or helicopter is moving to the left a little bit, so a little bit left rudder, a little bit left rudder, a little bit left rudder, and then we'll just pull back gently on the joystick, and it should just take off and give us a little bit of a hover. Cool. Now we are going to spin left, because I just want to have a look at our friend the Apache over here. There's our friend the Apache, and then we should have some buildings behind us as well, which we don't want to go into. Cool, so we'll spin back the other way, and we'll begin to head off in this direction. Now, in theory, all we need to do is hit the weapon select buttons. So if I go into here and hit adjust controls, we'll just get rid of that for the moment. The only extra stuff we need to know is this. So we need to know weapon select switch left. You have to set that to something. Weapon select switch right. So left is guns, right is rockets, and then this is obviously the selection screen to adjust things. And then on top of that, you just need your fire weapon, first detent. That's what I find is working, and that's working with the guns and the rockets. This is only one day after release day, so I haven't had very much time at all to work all this out. I seem to be able to remember what to do at the moment, so that's kind of good. I think people will be able to pick up this helicopter pretty easily. So we're going to hit left on the weapon select switch to guns, and I'm finding it shoots a little bit above what the X is, but I did move my X to where it should be, so I don't know if it saves that location, and I think it does. So there's a little white object out there just above my marker. I'm just going to try and shoot at that, and we'll see where the bullets land. It's pretty much on target, so I do believe it saves where the X is that you move it to. So where the X is where it's going to kind of hit at the moment. Yeah, it's dead on. it's hitting where I'm asking it to go. Just shooting in front of it deliberately to more see the splash. Alright, so now we're going to select right on the switch, and now we've got our rockets. So we'll maybe just rotate it around right a little bit. And we've got a building over there to the right, so we'll try and put some rockets down towards it. And just fire some rockets out that way. There we go. The rockets, you've got to push the nose down just that little bit more, and then the rockets will fire just above your marker. Alright, cool. So to get this right, I think just find out where it's shooting, and then you can drag that switch, that X switch, up and down as you need. So by that I mean this here, you can just drag it around. Does that make sense? And then when you found the right spot, then you can just stop dragging it around. But you can see now it's a little bit low. Even if it's wrong, as long as you know where it's got to be, like how much further south it has to be able to be correct, that would be fine. It's just you need to know how it's set up on that helicopter. Just use the rest of that ammo. See how much ammo this 200 gives us. And then we're out of rockets. Okay, so that's out of the gun. So that's pretty much all of that used. And then we'll see if we can spin around, and then we'll try and come up the runway and land. Just going about 80 at the moment. Lots more things to work out on this helicopter. Although it might be easy, there's still much to work out. Just gently bring it around. Just try and bring that collective back. Bring that speed down to trade it for altitude, but keep bringing that collective back. They do seem to be decreasing, so that's cool. Try and bring that speed down. Should be low enough to get some ground effect. Nice and stable on the runway. Nice and stable. I feel like I want to just jump to the external view just to have a little look, but we're okay. We're about 22 now, so we definitely should have ground effect. We just got to bring the speed down, that's all. There we go. We're on the ground. We can bring it all the way back, and then we're just on the runway. But we'll try and bring it up towards those buildings, so we'll just take off again. Just a little bit of collective, a little bit of left rudder, and she'll take off. Okay, cool. And we'll just go up the runway. Try and bring it back towards that Apache and the other buildings, if we're able. Just going down the runway. Seems okay, we can definitely use this. And it's not like horrible to fly in its current state. So there's those buildings over there. It's definitely unique. I didn't fly the Gazelle, maybe it's similar to that, but it's definitely unique. The Apache doesn't quite fly like this. It does feel light and nimble. That would be fair to say. Just as you come into the ground, you really got to kick in that throttle. You can't be afraid of beginning to kick it in. So we've got the building over here. We've got obviously our friend over there. Just slowly bring it forward towards the building. We're just sort of side moving at the moment. And then we might try and stick it on this yellow line. We'll need to. Point the nose around. Lean it to the right a little bit, and then we'll just bring it down. Well, looks like we're on the ground. Cool. No worries. So that's that. And then to shut it down, well, that's something I don't know about right at the moment, but I think I haven't even set an option to put the throttle to 0. So that could be something we could look at. So if I do adjust controls, I'm gonna just put throttle. Do you see like there's an option here for closed, and I've got nothing set to that. So maybe I can put it on the throttle. I'll just push this button and we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to see if it rotates around or anything. That's on closed. And then if I turn the battery off, we'll just try and generally undo everything that we did do. We'll see if that works. It looks like we're kind of okay. And then you could turn these three off. Yeah. And then if we can start it up again from this state, that would be a really cool test. Because it's one thing to do a start up and a takeoff. So anyway, we're on the ground, we're kind of shut down. So that's worked. Some wonderful sounds there. Just hold out while it's still making these sounds. Quite incredible. Alright, so let's see if we can start it up again from doing all that. Hidden part separator. We're going to hit the IFF. We're going to hit these two switches. We're going to put on an anti-collision light, which I think is on. And just a battery. Get rid of the warning. So then it's on closed, so we're going to put it onto idle. The switch is off. We didn't turn the switch off, but we'll just leave that in on, because we need it in on. And then we're going to hit this button, see if it can start it up again. Sounds like it's starting, so that's good. We can hit this, but we can't do much more at the moment. Hit the acknowledge button. It's on NR. As we learn more, obviously we can look at some of this and understand what it's doing a bit more, but for the moment, that's starting up the motor. So there is a few things we've got to do. We're going to push on the DC gen, this and this, and also the fuel boost. I'm not sure if we ever turned that off. Here we go, fuel boost, that's back on. And then the only other thing we're wanting to do is just put this onto full. Of course we could have rearmed, but we're not too worried about that at the moment. We're going to turn on those two. I do have the collective all the way back, so the helicopter shouldn't go too far. We could turn this to off and save that, because we're not taking off this time with the weapons in mind. And then just look at that, it's gone set straight away. Okay. So I didn't have to tap the trim. I think we can take off. So that's, you know, all the way from a shutdown to back to takeoff. So let's just see if we can take off now. I don't think we're missing anything too much. We should be okay. Let's give it a go. So we're just going to bring up that collective. Bring up that collective. I think with anything you do on these helicopters, just do it gently. Because when it starts moving, it's going to move very suddenly on you. Okay, we kind of got to hover here. And then we'll just spin it around to the right. That will do, and then we'll just stabilise there, and we'll just head out slightly. Move to the left a little. And we're in the air. So yeah, we're pretty much in flight again. Very cool. Okay, we'll go to the end of the runway and sort of come back up the runway again, but I don't believe any of the weapons work. Nah, it's all out. And that's fine. So the next big things are obviously the Hellfire and the observation post on top of this helicopter, things like that. We'll see if we can get our head around that. This is one day after release day, and I didn't really get much of a chance to look at it on release day. So it took a long time updating the game, so I just couldn't play because I'm waiting for it to upgrade and update. Downloaded it, but I couldn't play yet. Alright. And then we're back on the runway again. So we just spun that around really nicely. And here we are on the runway. Just going along. We'll have a little look at the external view. Pretty nice helicopter to fly, to be honest. I think it's fine. From a gaming perspective, it's not so difficult that you can't work it out, if that makes sense. Like, because we want to be able to actually enjoy it, you know. Like, we don't want the difficulty to be so crazy that there's just no possible way I'm ever going to be able to use what I just purchased. And I think people can learn how to fly this. This is fine. It's not so crazy difficult. But it is unique. It doesn't fly like an Apache. Feels a little different. So anyway, we'll go fly it towards where we took off again, and then we'll try and stop on that yellow line. Just got to bleed that speed off. And just at those last moments, that's when you really got to kick in the throttle. You can't be afraid, otherwise you will just tap the ground. If you want to stop it from touching the ground, just get into a hover. So we'll just bring it over to the left slightly, left slightly. Kick the nose around to the right. And then there's the yellow line. And then we'll just we may have been on the yellow line to the left before, but that's okay. We found a yellow line, that's all we're really worried about here. Just slowly edge it forward. Have a little look at that external view. Yep, a lot of fun to be had. Alright, so then we're just going to gently bring it down. We're close enough to that yellow line for me. And then that's it. Off the pedals. And then we can just put it off. Get rid of the acknowledgement sounds. I just wonder what happens if you turn the key off at this point. Well, it looks like you can. And then, yeah, just turn off the battery. 1, 2, 3. And then off, off. Turn that off. And you're pretty much okay from a gaming perspective. That's all off. Not bad. Not bad at all. So very fun little helicopter. Hope you enjoyed this video. We just took off twice. We did a cold and dark start. And did some flight with the guns and the rockets. Came back. Turned the engine off. Did another flight. Came back. Turned the engine off. So looks like you can do that repetitively. And obviously we could rearm at this point, so we'll just click OK.
Request rearming.
And we can rearm now and get our new rockets and our guns, also our fuel. some interesting things to test out would be just to see how it handles with a lighter load. So like say we put no weapons on it or less weapons on it and just less fuel, just to see what the impact of fuel is on the flight model. That's something we're still got to test. But other than that, this is really good. It's usable out of the box for us for sure. So we've got some basic guns, rockets. It's a fun thing to fly. We're able to fly it. Great, really really good.
Rearming
Thank you
complete.
to developers for making this aircraft, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye for now.